Hey, how you guys doing today? I just wanted to talk to you just for a little bit and share some interesting information. Well, uh, a lot of people didn't know about, and I waited a long time to cover this one. There's so much, but the reason why the Biden administration allowed Title 42 to cancel, and they could not allow it to cancel or expire because they still had that COVID emergency up. So therefore, they had to um, allow the COVID emergency to expire or be no more, so that way they can end Title 42, because it made no sense to um, put an end to Title 42 if you still had an emergency or something set in order pertaining to COVID. So that's why when he allowed that to expire pertaining to COVID, then he was able to end Title 42. Now, just so you guys know, we love everybody. God created everybody. There's only one race, and it's the human race. And the world is made up of beautiful people, red and yellow, black and white. They are precious in God's sight because Jesus loves all the children and all the people of the world. But there's this thing called borders for a reason, and the reason why we have borders is so you can have a country. If you don't have no borders, you don't have a country. Now, we can go over into China, we can go over to India and all these other different countries, and even some of these Arab countries. And for my Arab friends listening, you would agree and know, especially living over there, and if you understand anything about their rules and laws, that if you even go over there without the proper protocols and the ways you're supposed to enter into the country, you could be arrested or killed, depending on where you go and who you run into. So, most times out of 10 arrested. But, and it's well, here we go, really everything that you heard back in the day. See, number one, let me say this. We want people to come into this country, and we want people to we want there's good immigration and then there's bad immigration. When you do it correctly and come in correctly, now is everybody able to come to the country? No, but I think there's always means and ways where you can still work those things out. Number one, my wife is an immigrant. Okay, she's not a natural American born citizen. So we had to go through all the proper protocols and all the above to get her over here the right way. She came in the right way. Because the scripture says, in everything that you do, do as unto the Lord. So we did it the right way. And, after time and waiting and going through the process, it's just like, in that time now, she's a permanent resident and, so on and so on, and got her green card. It took forever, but the general standard waiting time is about 4 years. So, having said all that, you have this administration and Barack, just to name a couple, just allowing people to come in and come in and come in and come in and come in. But what's funny is that on video, because the mainstream media counts on you having a short-term memory, and so much stuff happens that things slips our mind. But if you go back, you'll look at clips where Bill Clinton sounded just like George Bush, sounded just like President Trump. Barack Obama, President Obama sounded just like, all of them sounded alike. Everybody was in a one accord, agreed, and said, come in the right way, as Barack Obama said, go through the proper channels. If you don't come the right way, we'll send you back. That's Barack Obama. He said that. So did Bill Clinton at one of his State of the Union addresses. So, but why the change all of a sudden? Well, because there's an agenda, and they have to meet that agenda. So now there's millions and millions over, the years that's came into this country illegally. Well, it's not just from Hispanic speaking countries. That's the great lie and deception right there. And again, we love everybody, but coming the right way. It doesn't matter if we had Africa at our border or Ireland at our border, and at the top it was Pakistan or Greece or whoever. You got to come in the right way, and that's even with different African countries that are all in the continent of Africa. They still got to cross into other countries the right way. So, you have Eric Adams here, who's the mayor of New York, and I'll show you here real quick. And so, at first he was saying, oh, well, you need to house everybody, invite illegals in to come stay in your houses and don't even know who they are, don't know their background. Just come let them live with you. But now, after months, he's changed his stance because of Obama's, well, actually, Joe Biden being in office is Obama's third term. But if you want to base it on what Obama said when he was leaving office, but that's another subject for another time. But Mayor Adams said, Mayor Eric Adams declares illegal immigration will destroy New York City. It's going to come to your neighborhoods. So there's videos where police stations were filled in these so-called sanctuary cities, and this is because everybody's trying to be a good and faithful, Democrat. And so they're trying to be faithful and loyal to the cause, and now they're reaping all the pain of their choices. So look at his stance now.
I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we get Ecuador. Now we get Russian speaking coming through Mexico. Now we getting Western Africa. Now we getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We got a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted. All of us. And so I say to you, as I turn it over to you, this is some of the most educated, some of the most knowledgeable, probably more of my commissioners and deputy commissioners and chiefs live in this community. So as you ask me a question about migrants, tell me what role you played. How many of you organized to stop what they're doing to us? Never in my...
One of the problems, too, with just allowing anybody to come through the border, unvetted, unchecked, is that you don't know who you're letting through. And so this is why when President Donald Trump said, well, they're not sending us their best, they're sending us their worst. Because you have a lot of countries that get the memo, and then they clean out their prisons and send them across. They don't send the engineers. They don't send good, decent people. They send the worst of the worst. They send, people with the worst criminal backgrounds. They don't, just like we have the worst of the worst over here. Any country, every country has this good, bad, and the ugly, just like the name of that old classic Western movie. So that's what President Trump was saying when he made that statement. But again, lamestream media blowing up and taking everything that he said out of context. But another reason is that you'll destroy the system and mess it up when you have people undocumented, people trying to look for jobs, people laying out all on the street, people coming across may not be up to date on their vaccines and immunizations or, stuff like that. people coming across with tuberculosis and all kind of different things coming across, and it's been documented. DHS and all of them has been documented, and a lot of them, Border Patrol, they want to do something, but they say their hands is tied, especially in this Biden administration, because they're being told to stand down or to catch and release, and then they have a court date back in 7 years, or then they get lost in the system and you can't find them. But, then you have people with bad records like this. Labor Day weekend jailbreak manhunt underway for extremely dangerous illegal alien killer who escaped prison. Welcome to America. In first 2 months in New York City, illegal arrested at least 6 times for 14 crimes. In the midst of all of that, Biden asked Congress for billions to expand illegal migration. Because he don't give a darn about us. Report: 7 illegal aliens among 19 arrested for child sex crimes in Florida County. And see, that's the other thing too, is because you have, children and women being raped. And it's sad. It's a sad situation. They even have places for this where these things are. And it's RFK went down there and he went to these different areas checking on women and kids where they have a center for women and children who've been raped. As he said in an interview on I listened to the other day, a sad situation. And the cartels that are playing their part in this, trying to profit, and, kids getting smuggled and women into the sex trafficking rings. And it's a sad situation. You got all these different things when it comes to Border Patrol trying to do their job, but their hands are tied because they're told to stand down and don't do nothing.
In history, more people are showing up at the ports of entry than running through some bush in Yuma, Arizona. And the reason they're showing up at the ports of entry is because you've got the turnstile open, where so long as they've gone and downloaded this app, you just let them in. Like this app that you've got everybody downloading is like the Disney Fast Pass into the country, never to be subject to actual removal, just removal proceedings, as you call them. And the sad thing is, it's not just us here, it's the cartels who get the joke too. And so now you've sent the message to the cartels, and then you've taken this app and you've digitized illegal immigration and you've scaled it to the moon. Isn't that right?
Congressman, that is false.
So the Washington Examiner has this new report, and it is jaw-dropping. Here's what they have to say. The Mexican government is allowing any immigrant who enters the country from Guatemala to continue traveling to the United States border if they have obtained an appointment on the U.S. government's CBP-1 phone app. However, Mexican cartels have hacked the app's security and found a way to request unlimited appointments for anyone in the world far beyond the app's northern Mexico geofence.
That's right. Apparently, cartels are selling this service to the migrants through a VPN, a virtual private network, that is able to override the server. And so now they have hacked the federal government app so that they can bring as many people in as they possibly can.
So cartels are using the Biden administration's now legal pathways to make money. And Chad Wolf says that this is just further evidence that the Biden administration does not understand the burden or the lengths or depths the cartels will go to make money.
So right there, Secretary Mayorkas, who's over the Secretary of the DHS, he lied under oath. But yet these punks don't get prosecuted. They don't get jailed. They don't get, nothing happens to them. I mean, it's like they can lie, they can defer, they can deflect all they want, but nothing happens to them, and this is what they do. This is why, because they have to stick to the agenda. They have to obey. They have to stay committed at all costs and never deviate from that. And so this is what you have. And so it's just, it's sad when people don't even care, but yet they're going to go ahead and do what they want to do, at all costs. And, there's many stories about, one story about a illegal alien beheading a woman, his girlfriend over here. It's a sad situation. But watch this video right here.
I don't know what they are.
You don't know what they are. Mr. Secretary, you have just testified to the American people you're incompetent at your job, because I've been to the southern border, and if you go to the southern border, along the southern border, you see thousands of these wristbands because the illegal immigrants wear them. The drug cartels, every color corresponds to how many thousands of dollars they owe the cartels. You've turned these cartels into multi-billion-dollar criminal organizations, and these are modern-day leg irons, because these are children being sold into sex slavery, and you don't even know what they are. That is astonishing. Mr. Secretary, how many children have been sold into sex slavery under your administration?
Senator, we are taking it to the cartels.
How many children have been sold into sex slavery? Do you know how many children have been sold into sex slavery?
To an unprecedented degree.
Mr. Secretary, I want to say to you right now, your behavior is disgraceful, and the deaths, the children assaulted, the children raped, they are at your feet, and if you had integrity, you would resign.
So, it only gets better or gets worse. You have all of the illegals coming in, and what happens? Greg Abbott sends and Ron DeSantis them up to Martha's Vineyard, where Obama and Kamala Harris is, and other rich, privileged, liberal residents stay, and yet they got there and arrived on the bus, and they were told they had to go, and then when they had to go, the people were such an outrage and fit. We want them to come over. We want them, we want DC to be a sanctuary city. But then Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis gives them a special gift. And then, oh my goodness, they have a fit and almost have a baby. But see, here's the deal. It's good for what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's always rules for thee, but not for me. So they want things like that to apply to you, but not to them. That's why they have their fences and they have their walls around their secluded neighborhoods with their nice big houses and their lakes and everything, while you live where you do, and they're unfaded. They're should be untouched, and it shouldn't apply to them. Wrong. You want it, then you participate too. You see, and so they didn't like that. Then they wanted to try to get mad and try to come against the two governors for doing such a thing, but they couldn't, because you wanted them to come in. Okay, well, we're going to send them up to all you sanctuary cities. But they didn't like that. You see the hypocrisy? Yeah. So, it's just another day. But now look at these black residents that get angry.
I don't care where they go. This is wrong. You got 73% of the people homeless in this city are black people. What have you done for them?
That was Miss Lewis, a former Chicago teacher, speaking out after more than 100 migrants are bused to hotels in her community. And Miss Lewis joins us now. Miss Lewis, thank you for joining us this morning. Before these people were bused into your neighborhood at Hyde Park, were any of the leaders who brought them there, did they inform the community?
No one informed us about the illegal immigrants coming into Hyde Park. And it's not 100. There are 300 people at the Lakeshore Hotel, which is literally right across the street from me. They started moving them in on Friday. There was a meeting held on Wednesday night, an emergency meeting that the alderman of the 5th Ward, who is Desmond Yancey, he held that meeting, and it was standing room only. It was packed. I did not go to that meeting to ask any questions, because no one asked the residents of the Newport condominium any questions before they put them over there. I went there to do exactly what I did: disrupt, interrupt. You put 300 migrants right across the street from the Newport condominium, a condominium where a lot of retired teachers and doctors, nurses lived. We have worked hard to live here. We pay a lot of money. It's very expensive to live here. Yet we have immigrants across the street from us who are not paying one dime. The taxpayers of the city of Chicago are funding their lifestyle. They are living on Lakeshore Drive, which is prime property here in the city of Chicago, here in Hyde Park. The citizens of Chicago are funding these people. Yet in the city of Chicago, you have a serious homeless problem. There are between 68 to 70,000 homeless people in the city of Chicago. Many of them, most of them are black. 76% of these homeless people are black. What is the city doing for them? Nothing. What is the city doing for Americans, Chicagoans, legal citizens of this country, of this city? They're not doing anything to help us, to help them. I see homeless people walking the street every day with their dirty clothes, their little carts, or the meager things that they have. The city is not doing anything for them. We don't have a responsibility to take care of illegal immigrants. It is the responsibility of the Johnson administration. It is the responsibility of the governor of Illinois and the city of Chicago. It's their responsibility to take care of Chicagoans, Americans, legal citizens, and they're not doing that. And I am very upset about it. And let me point out something else. All of these people who are coming in here, they're not angels. They're murderers. There are drug dealers. There's prostitution going on in the city. This city has serious problems that they're not addressing, and we don't like it. We want Mayor Johnson to move these people out of our communities. They're coming onto our property. We are being accosted by them, asking for money, telling us that they need jobs. Well, the Newport condominium is not an employment office. It is a residential area, and I am sick and tired of what's going on. They're sitting on our benches, and I walked up on two about a month ago because they've been here for a while. I walked up on two of these illegal immigrants urinating on the building. This is not what I paid for. This is not what the citizens, the residents of the Newport condominium paid for. I don't want to live around these kinds of people. Send them back to Mexico. Send them back to Venezuela. Send them back to wherever they came from and take care of Chicagoans. Mayor Johnson, Governor Pritzker, this is your responsibility. Yeah. These are our tax dollars that are taking care of these people.
Well, Ms. Lewis, I feel your passion. I would add Joe Biden to that list because that policy starts with him. A really quick note for you. Vivek Ramaswamy, one of the Republican candidates for president, said that when he talked about his policy to control illegal immigration, that it was never better received than in the inner city African-American communities. And when he said that, the New York Times said that's not true. African Americans don't care about this issue. You certainly.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do care about this issue because this is compromising our lifestyle. It's compromising our health. It's compromising everything that we believe in the Black community. Yes, we do. Yes, we do care about this. And anyone who's saying that, they are mistaken. We don't want these people here. Send them back to Mexico. Send them back to Venezuela. They should go back to their countries and build up their countries as Black Americans and as Americans in general have done in this country. We are the descendants of enslaved Africans who helped to make America what it is. And for America to ignore our problems, for America, for the Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker to ignore this homeless problem here in Chicago and use taxpayers' money to house illegal immigrants, they are wrong. They are sellouts. They do not care about the citizens of Chicago. And I want to say to Black politicians, you are failing your people. We put you in there to represent us, but it is the responsibility of these politicians to take care of Chicagoans first, not illegal immigrants. Send them back home.
Well, Ms. Lewis, You are certainly a woman who knows how to speak her mind. We appreciate you coming on, and we encourage the New York Times to interview you as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
God bless.
Wow, this is sad, man. You let me know what you think about this in the comment section. The reason I share this clip is because we don't always get to listen to actual residents telling us how they feel about the result of those policies pushed by those crazy, deranged elected officials. All I can say is elections have consequences, my friends. You guys voted for this. You did. You voted for this. Hopefully, next election, you will make a more intelligent choice, right? God bless you. Catch you on the next one. You let me know what you think about this. God bless the people of Chicago. They made mistakes. Hopefully they'll learn from it. Catch you on the next one.
Unacceptable and ridiculous working conditions.
This is the police right here in the police office.
Doesn't want to do anything about it. Nobody seems to
Chicago Police District 12.
City Hall doesn't look like this. Fire departments don't look like this. Every city facility doesn't look like this except for police departments. I can't even walk through the floor to the other side.
And, you know, he's right. It's not even these illegal immigrants. It's not their faults. It's not their faults that they've been brought over here. It's the failed politicians, the sellouts, as the elderly black lady has said. They're the sellouts. They're the politicians. They're the liars. They're the deceivers. There's the one who told you if you don't vote for me or this group, then you ain't black, or because you're black, you got to vote this way. And I'm not advocating for, you know, one or the other, but let's, truth be told, black folks, you've been deceived and lied to. And every time you voted for, you know, Democrats based on X, Y, and Z, you know, they always have these policies that really don't help you and don't really benefit you. And now you see you're in a worse position than what you were the first time. And you see, as you see, they don't care about you. They don't give a flip about you. You see, they don't care at all. And so this is sad that, you know, it is the, you know, they're treating you like this, but this, it is. It's just, it's a normal everyday day in the office. And so for her to feel like that is nothing unnormal, because, like, again, if that was happening in any country, they would feel that way. And oh, by the way, how are the people down in Mexico 4 years ago when they was having this issue when Trump was in office, and and Trump was stopping this whole thing from coming, and they were coming through Mexico? Let's see how people in Mexico felt when people were coming from Venezuela. Well, before I show you that, I'm going to show you this right here.
Are you having trouble paying for healthcare, rent, gas, groceries, and other bills? Then you've got to see this. The government is basically...
Consider such action about a forgotten community that none of you live in.
Developing tonight, outbursts and outrage at a community meeting in South Shore over a housing plan for migrants.
The debate comes as the city deals with the crisis of where to put migrants bussed in from the border.
Elizabeth Matthews is live now with more. Elizabeth.
Corey and Don, contentious to say the least. This forum was a chance for city leaders to get input from the public about the old South Shore High School housing migrants. The city got their input.
A packed house at the South Shore International College Prep High School. The crowd voicing their opinion, strongly opposing the addition of migrants in their community.
I am just outraged. I'm outraged, and I don't understand why our community was chosen.
City representatives saying the old South Shore High School would not be a shelter, but one of 3 respite centers for the migrants to temporarily sleep, eat, and take a shower, starting with about 250 people taking up the building's first floor. This is a way for the city to get the current 300 migrants out of the police stations. Questions were asked, but answers hard to hear, interrupted by the upset crowd. Before the meeting, a small protest of South Shore neighbors demanding the energy put into the migrant issue be put into their neighborhoods.
It is a slap in the face that we as citizens of the United States of America do not have the resources and support, but you're going to bring people who are not citizens here in in our community, in our buildings that we pay taxes for, that you took away from us. Yeah. That is completely unacceptable. We are in a humanitarian crisis right now. The black people in Chicago are bleeding on the streets.
Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson had this to say about the migrant crisis.
We have a responsibility to make sure that families who are seeking love and support here in the city of Chicago and throughout the state of Illinois, that they are not just welcome, but they are serviced.
So is this a done deal? A spokesperson for Mayor Lori Lightfoot's office says this is a possible solution, but still a fluid situation. Reporting live tonight, Elizabeth Matthews, Fox 32, Chicago.
Says here, Marsha Blackburn, Democrats lecture on compassion as migrant kids end up labor trafficked under Biden. South Texas law enforcement are overwhelmed. And I bet they are. Josh Hawley calls on FBI to launch full-scale probe into 85,000 migrant children missing on Joe Biden's watch. Well, number one, they're not going to do that because FBI is corrupt as dirt and they're behind and they play their part in this as well. So, you have your good, your bad, and your ugly, but man, when the top stinks, it stinks from the head down. So I don't see anything happening there. But like the mayor said, it's not just Hispanic. It's, Russian, as he said in that speech, if you heard it, African. Somebody even said Pakistani, other Arab countries. South American countries and even Chinese. And let me tell you, they're capitalizing on this because they have their sale plants, and they're, when they give the go, I'm telling you, it's going to be a ambush from within. So you talk about a Trojan horse. Biden, via Obama, that opened up the gate for all this to happen, and everybody's coming across the border, even China.
This right here, this is pure insanity. Are you kidding me? This is deliberate. How many of you think these people are going to vote for the policies that are giving them free stuff, free health care, free housing, free clothes, free gas, free cell phones, all the free crap that the Democrats continually want to pass out to pander to their voters? But guess what? Not only will we, the hardworking American taxpayers, pay for it, but so will our children. And
you need to understand. Yale University released a study last week by 3 researchers, all of them liberal, I believe, who concluded that the actual number of illegal aliens in this country is not 11 million, it's north of 22 million. 22 million. Fact 1. Fact 2. The Democratic Party is now, as a matter of policy, calling for the legalization of all illegals in this country. Citizenship voting rights. 22 million new voters. Fact 3. The overwhelming majority of first-time immigrant voters vote Democrat. Fact 4. The largest margin in American presidential history was 17 million votes. 1984 election between Mondale and Reagan. 17 million. You would add to our voter rolls 22 million, at least, permanent electoral majority in perpetuity. That's what this is about. It's not about making the country better, serving our labor needs, helping the population. It's about putting Democrats in power forever. That is the truth of our immigration debate, period.
All of them are from China, as they are migrating into the northern borders of the United States. China. Where are you going? USA. China.
Yes, from China.
Where you going to the United States? USA.
American law, New York.
China. Nepal. China. Wow. All Chinese.
So you have People coming from all around the world. Actually, 14 countries or more. Actually, maybe more than that now. But last time I checked, it was 14 countries on record that they've had people come across from illegally. 14 different countries from around the world. Not just Hispanic, not just South America, Central America. No, around the world. Russia, Africa, all over Africa, China, Arab countries, and others. So, as you see there, so it has nothing to do with any, the countries below us. But again, coming in the right way. As Christians, we have to understand, to do things right and with integrity. If you worked hard to get a degree and then it's time to graduate, but somebody who didn't do no work comes up on graduation day and they hand them a degree, you'll be upset, wouldn't you? Right. Because you worked hard to earn that degree or diploma. And same thing with watching a movie. You're paying to go see a movie and somebody else is just sneaking in. You see them sneaking in. You're like, hey, that's not fair. Right. There's a process. And so, there's a process in everything we do. And I'll show you this and then we'll close.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. One thing we've learned about mass immigration over the past couple of years is that all good people support it. Immigration is the ultimate moral litmus test. When a caravan of poor migrants from the third world shows up uninvited on your doorstep, the decent among us step forward to welcome them in. That's commanded by the moral code of cable news, and more importantly by the poem at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty. Only bigots and haters slam the door. That's what they've been telling us in the media now for years. CNN's Jim Acosta has made that point repeatedly. Well, it has finally happened. The caravan has arrived. But here's the funny part. It didn't arrive in our country. It arrived in Mexico, in the border city of Tijuana, just across the fence from San Diego. The people of Tijuana are Mexican citizens, so by definition, they are good people, much better than you are. They're more welcoming and compassionate, less selfish and less American. They must be thrilled by the new arrivals. As immigrants, their new Honduran neighbors will grow their economy and add rich new diversity to their culture. That's what low-skilled immigrants always do. Again, a point that Jim Acosta frequently makes. So are the people of Tijuana grateful for this caravan from Honduras? Fox's William Lajeunesse went there to find out firsthand. Here's what he discovered.
Should this caravan have been stopped at the Guatemala border?
Of course. I agree with that 100%. It should have.
The country have to be beware of these people. Because they are people, they are bad people.
Because they don't belong here. They're just migrants, but it's like in the same case, it's like when Mexican migrants going to the U.S., they're undocumented.
We know of incidences here in Tijuana and in other cities that some of these people that are coming into with these caravans are committing crimes. This is not about racism. We don't dislike a certain group of people because they're from one country or another. We are here because our government has not taken control of these, what we call invasion.
Whoa, wait a second. That's not the script we expected at all. The migrants are disruptive? They, quote, don't belong here? Some of them are criminals? It sounds like what they're saying in Tijuana is, when Honduras sends its people, it's not sending their best. And that's a racist statement, obviously. We know that because Donald Trump said something like that about Mexico once, and the geniuses on cable news never forgot it. They're still talking about that line years later as evidence of Trump's white supremacy. And yet here you have non-white people in Mexico saying pretty much exactly the same thing. How can that be? Let's check back with Tijuana to make sure we heard that right.
Donald Trump tenía la razón. Es una invasión. Lo que dijo Donald Trump es verdad. Es una invasión.
Donald Trump was right? Wait. How can someone in Mexico say that? Everybody in Mexico hates Trump. He believes in borders. Nobody in Mexico believes in borders. They're better than that. Well, maybe that was just a lone extremist talking, some crazy person who found a microphone and a TV camera. We better check with the elected mayor of Tijuana. If anyone can speak for the people of that city, he can. Here's what the mayor had to say about the migrant caravan.
Ninguna ciudad en el mundo está preparada para recibir esta, si se me permite, esta avalancha, ¿no? Este tsunami.
An avalanche? A tsunami? Note the dehumanizing terms he uses. If this were a liberal arts college in America, the mayor might be suspended for saying that. He'd definitely be in some kind of diversity re-education class by now. If he worked at Google, he'd be fired instantly. But he's not a student or a tech drone. He's the mayor of Tijuana, where people can still say what they think without fear of being denounced by Don Lemon on CNN as a white supremacist. So they do say what they think. And in Tijuana, what they think is that a massive and abrupt demographic change is destabilizing to a society, no matter what the color of the people involved might be. It's particularly destabilizing if you're not rich, and most people in Tijuana are not rich. Even in Mexico, they're wary of ignoring the law completely and treating borders like they don't exist. They know that doesn't end well. Most people know that doesn't end well. The difference is, in Mexico, they can say that out loud. We can learn from that. Enrique Acevedo was an anchor at Univision. He was just in Tijuana. He joins us tonight from Miami, Florida. Enrique, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Tucker.
I'm confused. We just saw a group of Mexican citizens in Tijuana saying basically the same things that President Trump says, almost to the word, endorsing Trump. Are they white supremacists?
Well, you have to understand that unlike human beings, intolerance, hate, and even racism flow freely across borders. And that's what you saw in those interviews. They're not running for president. They're not running for president of the United States either. They are part of a group of around 300 protesters in a city of 1.3 million who, like many others along the way, this caravan, are opposed to their presence in Tijuana. And, you know, the overwhelming majority of people in Tijuana welcome immigrants. It's a city of immigrants.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I just back up a little bit? No, it's a big city, for sure. But can I say, hold on, you just said that they're racist, but they're Latino, Spanish-speaking Latinos, attacking other Spanish-speaking Latinos. So where's the racism?
Well, we're not a monolithic community, Tucker. We have people from Central America, from Venezuela, from Colombia, different backgrounds, different ethnicities. And yes, racism exists in Mexico towards Central Americans. It's not new. It's happened throughout history.
But I'm confused. How is it racism?
Wait, but hold on. Migrants face when they go across Mexico: violence, extortion, and racism.
No, okay, but I'm not quite sure how it's racism if they appear to be of the same race. But moreover, they said, and I think I'm quoting one of the protesters, it's not about racism. This is almost exactly what he said. We want our government to enforce our borders, which is what a lot of people, including me, say frequently in the United States.
Okay, the mayor of Tijuana had on a red hat. You saw him talking in the meeting, but he had a red hat on that looked like a MAGA hat. It said, "Make Tijuana great again." Make Tijuana great again. All right. It didn't say make Mexico great again. It said make Tijuana great again. Now, this guy, whenever you're dealing with a left-wing liberal, they're always going to defend the cause. No matter what, they'll go down with the sinking ship. Red, yellow, black, or white. A liberal is a liberal is a liberal is a liberal. And they're going to deny, and make all of these crap-filled excuses to evade reality. But the thing is what the people there in Tijuana was saying was true. I mean, it is what it is. It's about border. It's about protection. It's about government doing what they're supposed to do. We love everyone, but we got to have order. You know, that's why they even have capacity in certain venues, because when you get over a certain capacity, then, you know, things could be hazardous, or, you know, you can cause certain problems. That's why there's capacity limits. Same thing with countries. You got to come in the correct way. And I'll leave you with this, and I'll let you go.
Borders with today's termination of the final remnants of Title 42, Joe Biden has officially abolished what remained of America's borders and turned the United States into a dumping ground for illegal aliens from all over the world. We've become a third world nation. At this very moment, illegal aliens are lined up by the tens of thousands, ready to break into our country, knowing that even if they are caught, Joe Biden will order them immediately released into American communities, and many of these people are very dangerous. Under Biden, our border is gone, our sovereignty is gone, our national security is gone, and we are quickly becoming that third world nation that I've been talking about for so long. It's happening to us, if you can believe that. The United States of America is now a third world nation. On day one of my new administration, I will end this travesty and restore the sovereign borders of the United States of America. We will immediately resume expedited removals of people that are crossing illegally our border. And following the model of President Eisenhower, we will use all necessary federal, state, local, and military resources to begin the largest domestic deportation effort in American history, to send the border violators back to their home countries, and we will do that immediately. This invasion will not stand. Our country is being invaded. Our country is being destroyed by very, very stupid people. These are stupid people. We have to get them out. We have to take back the White House. Thank you very much.
Well, if you made it this far to the end of the video, I appreciate you guys, even if you had to space it off and just watch bits and pieces of it. But, you know, in California, just like they did in San Francisco some time back, they're trying to make it to where now you can be an legal citizen, not an American citizen, to be able to work on the police force. Just Google it. Well, even Google censors information and they hide stuff. But you can look and see if it's on there. But, you know, just research it, Google it, DuckDuckGo, Firefox, Safari, whatever. Check it on your search engine and see. But illegal citizens in California, which Gavin Newsom is signing this bill, Governor Gavin Newsom, to where they can be police and arrest U.S. citizens if they are hired and join the police force. Insane. So, just thought I'd bring some things to light. Media, with the media, some media outlets won't show you. All right, pray for this country. God bless.